Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Leinster are into the Champions Cup final as they survived a late comeback from Northampton to win by just 3 points, despite at one stage leading by 13, I think it was, or something along the likes of that. So it was a very impressive performance from Leinster initially, and they blew Northampton away really in the first 20 minutes. With Northampton just so poor to begin with. But at the end, they were strong enough. They dominated the game across majority of it. There was a little bit of, it felt a bit of deja vu with regards to a potential comeback. And Northampton were actually just outside the 22 with about 1.5 minutes left before a massive clutch penalty from Caelan Doris at Jack Cronin was enough to give Leinster the victory and get them into the final. Before we break the game down, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Currently being interviewed is Jamison Gibson-Park, who was absolutely sensational. We all get caught up in the Anton Dupont hype, but we don't really give other sort of scrum halves attention with regards to potentially being one of the best players in the world. I'll tell you what, Jamison Gibson-Park for me is in that conversation. A masterclass today from him. He's just everywhere. Defensively, the way he controls the game, the way he kicks, his distribution. He's a master of his craft, and today was at his best. I mean, James Lowe scored 3 tries and still does not get man of the match, as was the class of Jamison Gibson-Park today. So in terms of how it all went down, James Lowe with the try in the 10th minute, Ross Byrne adding the extras. James Lowe 4 minutes later with Byrne adding the extras, which meant there was 15 points to 0 at the half-hour mark, and Northampton had virtually had no opportunities, very little possession. They were making lots of mistakes. They got a bit of I wouldn't say a silver lining, but they got into the game with a 3-pointer from Finn Smith on the brink of half-time, and would have thought they would have had a bit of momentum. It was always going to be very important for them to try and score first in the second half. They didn't do that. James Lowe went in for his hat-trick in the 43rd minute, and you thought, well, that is it. Game done. 17 points down. But then a big moment in the game was when Hendy went over for Northampton in the 58th minute. Finn Smith, who kicked actually beautifully off the tee, adding the extras to give them a small chance. And it was then the try by Seabrook in the 73rd minute, which suddenly meant that Northampton weren't touching distance. One converted try would have won them the game. In fact, one try would have won them the game after Finn Smith nailed that conversion. But unfortunately for them, just not able to get over the line in the end. A bit of a scare, in fact, a big scare from Leinster. But they did manage to absorb the pressure and get past it. There's a certain amount of ruthlessness to them this tournament. They maybe didn't show it maybe in the last 20 minutes, but that first 20 minutes very much was the difference at the end. If we look at some of the stats, territory-wise, 53% for Leinster, but 58% possession. And that very much proved to be the big factor towards the end of the game. Set pieces were very good from Leinster. They didn't lose a single line-out. They won 86% of their scrums as well. For Northampton, it was 75% of their scrums and 88% of their lineouts. If you look at the attack, far more post-contact meters from Leinster, almost double that of Northampton, as well as having far more carries. If you look at the turnovers, pretty similar between the two teams. Discipline-wise, also pretty similar. 11 penalties conceded by Northampton, 9 from Leinster. No cards in the match, which is good to see. Tackle completion rate was also pretty similar. In terms of some big performances, Jean Augustus carried the most, as you'd probably guess, for what a player he is, and it'll be really cool if we can see him back playing in South Africa sometime soon. But he's been fantastic for Northampton and continues to be that. James Lowe with 12 carries as well. If you look at line breaks, James Lowe with 3 tackles completed. It was always going to be a big defensive effort coming from Northampton. Of all people, Finn Smith actually topping the charts with 20. Alex Cole's 19. Courtney Laws with 17. The first Leinster player actually appears 10th on the list, or tied 7th, really. And that is Caelan Doris. So, Northampton's having to do all the defending, and it just wore it down, really. So that was kind of the difference. In terms of Northampton, they'll be gutted because I think they could have won that game. Would they have deserved it? Maybe not, given how they didn't come out the blocks particularly well. But the response, shows a really good mentality. For Leinster, you can choose which way you want to look at it. You can see it as a change mentality in that they almost allowed a team back in, but they managed to get over the line, but they managed to, defend, get that penalty towards the end. The other way of looking at it is maybe they are still vulnerable to a potential late comeback. They are there a side that maybe fades as the game goes by, and whoever wins from tomorrow either between Toulouse or Harlequins, they'll very much be looking at the way Northampton came back and see it as an opportunity for them to be able to sort of try and beat Leinster and basically say, listen, we're always in the fight. So, it was an interesting game. Good game. Fantastic game of rugby. First team into the Champions Cup final. We do have our Challenge Cup finalists, which will be between Gloucester and Sharks. And that should be a really, really good game as well. So let me know what you thought about the games today down in the comments below. Please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.